All right, there we are. Would have been nice if I hadn't. Would have been nice if I'd pressed go live before I come on. Well, anyway, with all that said, greetings YouTube. This is Brandon Hill here with Terrace Faces. Well, he'll be on just a bit, and together we are the creators of Wild Space Saga, the epic sci-fi action adventure series that you didn't know you needed. And this is Wild Space Podcast, the Wild Space Wildcast, made specifically to tell you exactly why you need it. And as we've been around for a hot minute in relative silence on DeviantArt, what you've been missing. But before we begin, take a moment to subscribe and hit that beautiful notification bell so that you won't miss a single bit of news, events, live streams from our channel. Whether you catch us live or are watching after the fact, we want you to join us on the Northwest Passage. And finally, if we piqued your interest, links to our books available in paperback and ebook, as well as everywhere else you can find us on social media, are available down in the doobly-doo. So today is our open mic day, and unfortunately, the reason why Terry is not with us right at this moment is because, well, daylight savings time is stupid. Yeah, you heard it. You heard it from me. And well, we got one of our constant joiners with us on our in the chat area. Thanks for joining us, man. Give me just a second. But yeah, daylight savings time is stupid. And I guess it just isn't kind of done at the exact same time across the board around the world, because he lives in the UK. And so I told him at 4, but last night, as you know, here in the States, we changed out when our clocks got set forward an hour. And so, yeah, it was still about 9 o'clock for him, where there's usually a 6-hour difference between us. So, yeah, daylight savings time is stupid. And really, our government needs to get off its collective took us and probably, maybe enact those laws that will, stop this stupidity. I mean, if memory serves, it was something that Ben Franklin did a long time ago. Oh, well, all that that's not important. But getting back on track, just wanted to go ahead and remind you that our book, our new book, Twisted Faith, of the third book in Wild Space Saga, will be available in May, and we already have the re-releases of our first 2 Wild Space Saga books. And I will show them off to you once we get those in the mail. Our publisher said they're sending them my way very, very soon. So I want to share all that with you. The Twisted Fates is really an interesting little story. I'm gonna go ahead and read the blurb in the background just in case you think it's something that's really interesting. I've been kind of just perusing this advanced copy that I got from our publishers while I'm at work, and I just keep reading it over and over again. And yeah, I know the author is always going to be the most attached maybe to their book as their baby, and and so but I've been really, really enjoying how the story plays out. I think it's probably the most complex one that we've done thus far. Though the next one that we're working on is going to be pretty complex. True. I even did a drawing last night of a particular thing from the 4th book that will be coming out. That is really cool. Me and Terry have been kind of putting our heads together, doing a slight rendition of it in a certain way, and we'll be sharing out on our social media. So if you want to, please follow us. Go to our X account, which I said the links are down in the doobly-doo, and go to our Instagram account. And again, the links are down in the doobly-doo, and follow us there because you'll get a lot of cool stuff. And also follow us on DeviantArt if you like cool art. If you want to see some of the artwork that we've done, go check out some of our last couple of podcasts, live streams that we've done, and you'll see that see some of the amazing concept art. And there's tons more on that site. And what I've been doing, at least with X, is giving people advanced looks at drawings that I just finished that I haven't put out on DeviantArt yet, and also going to be maybe doing some little segments of little snippets from our books, so people will be interested in seeing what we have to offer. And I sort of lost my train of thought there. But we have a whole lot of things planned. Oh yeah, we've been doing like short comics and whatnot, to get word out for our books. So please follow us on those sites, and follow us there. Follow us on DeviantArt. Follow us on X. Follow us on Instagram. You're gonna see a lot of really cool stuff. Terry's Instagram, he runs the Instagram account. I run the X account. he posts a lot of the stuff that we do when we take our artwork and do like renderings of it using ChatGPT. I know a lot of people aren't all that into AI, but for those of you who don't mind that and who love it, you're gonna see some really cool renditions of our stuff. I mean, we have our own artwork that we've done, yes, but we also like kind of rendering it in AI to see a bit more. A professional rendering of it. I mean, we've done it with some animations that we've done for advertisements for our books, and you'll see a whole lot more. Zitter. Okay, so anyway, for our upcoming book, let me go ahead and read the plot blurb for you. Still just waiting for Terry to join us. He's on the phone, and I've forgotten to mute it, but. Let me make sure, see if he's coming on. Okay, he said he'll join when he can. So yeah, this is just another time we got caught flat-footed. All right, so anyway, the fortuitous arrival of Kumiko, a powerful tertiary who has been assigned to protect the newborn daughter of the Felian Empress and Seth Ramirez, the human envoy to Anrahara, leads Zerx away from what was intended to be a relaxing trip. Instead, he finds himself ferreting out a dark plot that may destabilize racial relations between the normally peaceful Felians and humanity, many of whom have taken Felians as husbands and wives. This leads Zerx and his reckless crew to join forces once again with Paige, the captain of the Shadow Star, across the colonies to Zinj, the former capital of the ancient First Imperium, now an irradiated, polluted rock inhabited by an insular people who sell the scraps of their once great cities, to survive in their underground warrens, the perfect hideout for the human supremacists of Helix. Will the courageous captain and his crew be able to stop Helix and foil the will of their charismatic leader, or will the already beleaguered alliance have to contend with two powerful enemies? Hope that's a pretty cool setup that might whet your appetite if you like action adventure, if you like aliens, if you like a lot of conspiracies and especially involving like evil racist cults, you'll probably really enjoy this. And we know the HMOFA. That probably would get into that category, though our stories don't exactly get all that intimate, at least not in this book particularly. Though we do have some romance go on in the stories involving some humans and Felians. Is in this particular case, this baby that they're protecting is half human and half Felian, the daughter of that envoy and the Felian Empress, which she had with him for certain political reasons, but also because because they both fell in love. Let me see. So, today what we're doing was an open mic, and when Terry comes on, we're gonna be doing some interesting discussions about various aspects of the show, various aspects of what we're planning on doing, various aspects of Wild Space Saga. So I'm hoping people join in for this, and even if not, we still got a lot to talk about, and if not, I can just go ahead and read segments of the books that we have already available. Another thing to remind you of, guys, the re-release of the first and second book, by the way. Oh, so we have another joiner. Welcome to our live stream. And so, like I was telling everyone, today is our open mic. You want to talk about something involving us or involving the books, any questions you may have, any comments, even criticisms if you read the books, then just come on just let us know down in the chat, and we'll try to bring it up and talk to you. So what I was just mentioning is how we have re-released the first and second books. Let me just grab them right quick. They are right over here. Well, they were. Got a quick glimpse of my messy room. All right. So these are the old covers. This was the first one, Between the Devil and the Dark. And the second book is called Wrath and Redemption. They are both available in paperback and hardcover, and well, there is an audiobook, but the audiobook has not been updated for the new editions and the re-release. But what we have for both of them is that we have new content. So these books are going to be longer and a bit more involved. They tell a more complete story for the Reckless. Like in particular, one of the differences is this particular book that we first released really just focused on Xerx and his Reckless crew. Well, but what we did what we add on for the for the re-release, we actually made a B plot involving the Shadow Star and having their stories kind of come together, because in the original, there Terry is finally joining us. Give him a moment to get himself situated, and then we're gonna fire him up. Okay, I think we got everything stable.
Don't give me
Alrighty.
Joining you. You are the person that forgets time differences.
Yeah, remember though that we did the daylight savings time thing yesterday. I thought
it doesn't happen to the end of the month here.
I didn't know that.
Well, you should know that. You should be psychic and understand these things.
Yeah, I should.
This is what I expect of you, to be able to read minds. You should know that by now.
Well, the thing I was saying, what I made a little mention is on is on our side of the pond. The government has talked about ending that whole thing, but it's been basically just messing around, sitting on their hands, not bothering to do it. And so, I'd rather they actually do that. So we had to stop this.
Audiobooks.
Huh?
I saw a question about audiobooks.
Oh yeah, the audiobooks for the second edition. Unfortunately, we don't really know. We'll have to talk to the publisher about that. I'm pretty sure they have plans.
They decided it's too expensive, so they're not going to do them. If we want to do them, we can either do it ourselves, i.e. voice it ourselves, or we can source someone and pay them to do it.
Really? They said that they wouldn't be able to do it because it's too expensive?
That's exactly what they said.
Okay, I don't remember that, but you have better memory than me. But well, hey, I mean that's one thing we talk about, because personally, I actually can narrate books, and I got video editing software that can narrate. If push comes to shove, and I know how to pronounce their names, and I know what they sound like. So I don't know if I'd be able to quite get some of the accents all right on your end. I mean, what I could also do is, you want to bring it in, you can do some of the voices if you like. I mean, that's cool, but again, we can make plans and do that at another point. Let me see. It comes up every spring, drops one. Oh yeah, still talking about daylight savings time. Be glad to narrate the books for you.
Send us a voice sample if we love your voice. I'm sure we could work something out.
I've been talking to this guy on a Discord that is about this video game that's coming out called Drone Commander, and he's done some live streams talking about that game. And he actually does have a decent voice, and so I might actually talk to him about that. We'll see. We'll go ahead and we'll put a pin in that, and
he likes your voice, Finn.
Stop it.
just do the eyebrows. It's enough.
But anyway, and I really, if I should have made a little bit more time. Let's tell you, sometimes when it rains, it pours, ladies and gentlemen. And for anyone who's watching after the fact, before this thing started, I use Brave browser and it glitched on me. I'm trying to get on line, and it's telling me that it's the camera is turned off. And it's telling me, please turn on your camera in the address bar. I'm looking on the address bar, like, where's the camera? And I got less than 10 minutes to get on. I'm like, I rebooted my computer. And I'm sitting there, like, kind of halfway freaking out. And finally, I just was like, screw it. And I went to fortunately, I have more than one browser on my computer. I went to Firefox and fired it up, and went on ahead and went on StreamYard that way. Finally, right before we started, I went back to Brave just to see what in the world was going on. Because I saw a little camera icon in the address bar on Firefox, and then so I went to Brave and I saw a little thing and I had to press, and it brings up permissions. I'm like, how did I lose permissions? But
Updates usually, isn't it? My usual one is, why can't I see anything? Why can't I see anything? This should be working. I get very irate, and then I remember there's that little door on the camera that you have slide out the way to reveal the lens.
Oh, you have one of those things on your camera.
Yeah, and you know, I always close it up when I turn it off just to keep the dust off the lens more than anything. But then I forget that it's there, and they're like, "Why is there no picture? What's going wrong with it? I can't do it." Oh, yes, that would be why. Yeah, I get irate with technology very quickly as well, very easily.
All right. So, as I was saying though, before you came in, I was
just me with the music as well. There, I know what you're up to because I've got headphones on.
Yeah, it's still too loud for you.
It's been going up and down in volume.
Hang on a minute. Let me finagle that just for a second.
Yeah, it went up and then down again, and then up, and yeah, it was a bit weird.
Okay. So, yeah, for you, you're wearing headphones, so it might just sound louder to you than it does to me.
It was going up and down in volume. That's why I noticed.
Oh, maybe it self-modulates for whenever we're talking. I don't know. What I want to do before long is actually do like an animation that like I've seen other live streamers do that counts down before we're supposed to pop on. Yeah, but I think I have to actually
give me your honest question. Go on.
Oh, honest question. What's up?
This is going to sound terrible. I've never heard of Powerwolf.
Neither have I. Oh, he likes metal. Wait, yeah, he likes metal groups. So yeah, oh, that's right. You did share Powerwolf with me once, but yeah, I like some metal, but
I'm strangely insular and eclectic in my music taste.
Me too.
I never really used to listen to CDs and stuff until I was sort of in my late teens. And a lot of what music I used to actually initially relate to and was into was usually through movies I watched. First two CDs I ever bought was the score to Starship Troopers and Event Horizon.
I have the score to Starship Troopers as well.
I want to get the LP because it's got the proper cues on it. I have one of Mission Impossible 2 for that. It's absolutely epic. It sounds better like that. It's just getting the record player out now and then is a bit of a task.
I don't have that many. Well, I have a few soundtracks. I have the ones like The Matrix. I have the one for The Fifth Element. That's one of my favorites. I have Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, the normal music, I was exposed to all kinds as a kid. We used to have a big van, and my dad had put seats in the back, taken basically old car seats and put them in the back of the van and make his own minibus.
Yeah, I know that kind of van you're talking about.
Yeah, and this van even had sliding doors, so you used to be driving down the motorway with the door slid open.
So basically, you had the mystery machine.
Then. Yeah, you wouldn't get away with it now. But basically, the tapes we had were everything. I mean, we had Meatloaf, we had ABBA, we had Dolly Parton, musicals, trucker songs. My dad had tapes of American trucking songs. I know all the words to Convoy, both versions.
Well,
there's a song called Preparation H, and as a child, I didn't know what the hell that was.
Really? I grew up knowing what Preparation H was. You couldn't get away
from that song, as you imagine as a child, was perfectly innocent to me. I didn't realize the guy was living on coffee, pills, and, hemorrhoid cream.
Now, I didn't know what hemorrhoids were until much later, but I mean, Preparation H commercials.
I didn't know. I didn't know what Preparation H was. I thought maybe it was, something you would drinks or something like that as a kid.
Yeah, Preparation H commercials, they were ubiquitous in 80s daytime TV back in the day. So,
but as a result, though, I mean, Meatloaf was a big one. My sister used to be well into Queen and Cat Stevens. Yes, I mean, this is the only band T-shirt I've ever owned, and that's because as I said, I don't have an Iron Maiden T-shirt. I only have Ghost T-shirts, and that's literally just because I went to that concert last year, and I wanted one to commemorate the tour, and it's got Manchester on the back, and the dates and everything on the back. I very rarely have ever had branded T-shirts. There's a lot of just. Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily through any reason why I've never done it, partly, although also because I'm a big lad. And in Britain, in America, because let's not, this isn't going to sound wrong, but you're on the whole, your population's larger, so you tend to have larger clothes more readily available to you. In Britain, I'm one of these rare ones where I'm tall, I'm like 6 foot plus, and I'm fat. The assumption in Britain is you're tall and thin, or short and fat, not tall and fat. So as a result, finding t-shirts in my size with what I want on them is very difficult, unless I want to import them, which is very expensive. So in the end, yeah, I've not really got a lot of the t-shirts I'd like to have in that sense, because there's not a lot in my size. I have a lot of my rugby stuff, big rugby fan, because they all know that the guys who follow rugby are massive. So they make sure the clothes are massive to go with you with it. So it's why I have a lot of sports gear.
Yeah, and this is the same issue with me when it comes to t-shirts. There's some t-shirts I would love to have. One of my favorite bands, two of my favorite bands, Jamiroquai and Cell Dweller. And both of them, they have t-shirts, but they only go up to 3X. I wear a 5X. And that pisses me off.
Actually, it's one of the issues. It's one of the issues I have is I do follow things like Formula One. Favorite team is McLaren, but it seems to be that Formula One teams don't like the idea of fat people wearing their gear, so they don't do t-shirts in my size. They obviously think maybe it's not a good look if you're not fit and amazing and beautiful. You know,
it's for any fandom. It always seems that they just expect only skinny people to follow them. I used to be huge into Destiny, the video game, and I would have loved to get like some of the stuff you could wear with it. And it only went up to 3X. And I'm like, most people who play video games look like me. Why do you not make clothing that is my size?
It was like that at the merch stand for the Ghost concert. They only had up to 3XL, but they never got limited stock they can carry anyway. They have their official Amazon store, which is where I got this, goes up to bigger sizes than mine. And it's like, well, now I wear their stuff because they actually cater for people up to bigger than me. You know, because I can actually readily get their gear. So 3 major categories of subcultures are theatre kids, jocks, and nerds.
Depends on where you are. For down here in Louisiana, there wasn't theater kids. It was you actually had goths, jocks, and nerds, and not every goth was a theater kid.
Just to respond to Cavish as well, Empire Strikes Back, I didn't have it on vinyl, but I had it on the first release of the CD, double CD. And then I had to replace it because that one was so worn and scratched that it didn't read very well anymore in the CD player.
Oh, I also had Independence Day soundtrack. I played that thing over and over and over and over and over again. So, but let me see. What I was doing before you came on, Terry, all I was doing was just doing a bit more of a detailed rundown on the re-releases of the books.
He wasn't giving you all the exposition again. I know what he's like.
Anyway,
Basil exposition here.
Anyway, what I was saying is that just a reminder to people is that like this.
Also, I do love putting him off his train of thought. It's really fun to do.
No, but yeah, it also it's
also very I'll just start talking the minute he does. He'll try and go, and he'll keep going. He'll hope that I give up and stop talking, and I know he'll react first.
Wow, God's are you doing?
There he goes. There he goes. Oh yes, winners dance. Winners dance.
I'm going to be making very rude gestures to you live on the internet. Please do not do that.
Why? It's fun. They get to know us.
So, as I was saying, just please, I was saying this particular book. Okay, I'm gonna start doing that to you. Dude, you want these people to know about our stuff or not?
I know, but I couldn't resist.
So I was saying is that this particular book is shorter, and for the new re-release, once it comes in, my publisher had told me that they had sent me the re-release versions, but they accidentally sent it to the wrong address. So sooner or later they're going to be sending it my way, and the re-release
actually sent me any, wouldn't it?
I don't know why it didn't get sent to you either. You might want to. Hit him up with an email. Also, I do need to talk to them about that thing that they said we need to. It's this paper that they were talking about that we need to have if we're talking to people about doing advertisements for our stuff.
Paperwork. Yeah.
No, it's something else. I'll have to talk to them about what that is exactly.
Yeah, I know it was that weird sheet they were talking about the other day. I know. But our friendly viewers have no idea what we're talking about, so
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're
talking business like you're not even here. It's wonderful, isn't it?
No, but I got controls that can take it off or mute you. Anyway, so as I was saying, this original version only talks about Zerx and the Reckless crew. The new version actually brings in Paige and the Shadowstar crew, who were only mentioned nearer to the end of the first book, and it brings their stories together in a much more organic way. And so for those who want a more robust story, you're going to get that. If any of you out there have actually read between the original version of Between the Devil and the Dark, you do well to actually get the newer version. And trust me, we're not going to be constantly releasing new updated versions. This was something they asked us to do, and we did that. And now the story is basically the way we want it.
It was a thing where we found out, and possibly this is also a shortcoming of ours, that apparently sci-fi readers and sci-fi books are expected to be a little bit longer than the average sort of word count for your average novel. And so we were like, oh, right, okay. And as we went back through Between the Devil and the Dark, we realized that actually there's a lot of sort of more content we could add to it. And part of it is that the Shadowstar crew didn't originally exist. About 2015, Brandon said, I've got an idea for a side story. I need a crew and a ship. And I hadn't had plenty of time to work on it for him because I had contracted sepsis and I was in hospital. So it was like, that kept me doing something. And so I designed the ship. We came up with the crew, and they kind of rose to prominence as we went along. Yeah, exactly that, Finn.
Yeah, I've read all kinds of different sci-fi books. Some are big brains, some are pretty light readings.
But that's the general expectation, though, if you look into it, that they're supposed to be a bit longer. But yeah, as was saying, with the Shadowstar crew, as we went along, we realized they kind of came to prominence a bit more in the next story. We realized, okay, they're kind of co-stars. They became a second major crew, sort of naturally. They evolved in that way. So Zerx and the Reckless crew were always meant to be the main people. They were the main characters. But somehow this crew caught them up in prominence. So we realized going back over, like as Brandon said, going back over the first book, we realized that, okay, we were introducing them towards the end to help them out. They could actually feature in this story on an almost equal footing.
Yeah, I remember when I thought of this, I was I was talking, and okay, I don't exactly text and drive. I actually have a voice to text that does the work for me for the most part. But I'm driving back. I think I was driving back.
If I knew you were texting and driving, I would tell you off like I did last week, the other week, live in front of everyone.
Anyway, I was driving back home, and I know we were trying to think of what to do to make the book longer, and it just hit me out of the blue. I just remember just driving like B plot, and that's when I sent you the message like, we need to have a B plot. That's like, we just use the Shadowstar crew and give them a B plot, and the rest is history. So. Now, but what I want to say about the sci-fi books being big brained is that yes, some are. I mean, yeah, you read that chunky stuff by Arthur C. Clarke and there's this one book I forget the guy who wrote it. By called Children of Time, where this civilization gets built up by spiders, and those books are really kind of big thought type stuff, really complex. Yeah, a lot of people think sci-fi, but there are also the pulpier and simpler sci-fi serials that are meant to be more brain candy. It's a guy named Daniel Green who's a booktuber, who I follow, and he's actually written some books. Actually, some books. Anyway, he did this video recently where it talks about the different levels of science fiction, and he was the very first. Well, actually, the first one was AI slop, but he gets into one of the first few levels, and one is like pulp sci-fi, and those are going to be the shorter books. So not everything is going to be like super long, and we're hoping that for Wild Space Saga, it's going to be one of those ones that are, make for easier reading stuff. That if somebody wants something light summer reading, and especially if they're sci-fi lovers, I think they're really going to get a kick out of this one. And I was telling them, Terry, I was saying, when I was presenting, right before you came on, I was presenting Twisted Faith. I said I've been reading.
Yeah.
I've been reading the book at work, just reading it over and over again. And man, I really do like just the way the story pans out. It really works out well, and especially the character interactions. They have a lot of really fun back and forth, but and it really does bring up the plot really, really well, especially the chemistry that Zerx and Frostbite have with that running gag where she pops him upside the head constantly. Zerx has a tendency to say stupid things.
He's the women he's friends with. He doesn't tend to come off the best, does he? Because Kamiko, Frostbite, smacks him up the head psychically, and he gets called Chuck and Chicken by Paige. That's something that is a mystery between them. I will only ever hint at that it's potentially to do with the bet that he lost. You might find out that, you might not. I'm going to keep that people hanging on about that one and the history between that nickname for a long time.
He's surrounded by a lot of women that have very very strong personalities, and not that Zerx. And no, this isn't like Zerx being upstaged by a bunch of women. No, that doesn't work out that way. He's got his own abundance of personality as well, but it just so happens that he's surrounded by a lot of very formidable women, and one who seems sometimes like she's afraid of her own shadow, but also has her own inner strength. So, but he's been I think without some of these women, he might be dead by now.
But that's kind of the idea of, like I said, with nicknames, relationship with his own wife. He and Paige are friends. They're very well. It's professional friendship. They've crossed paths many times. Like I say, I would love to keep people hanging on as to why she calls him Chuck and Chicken. I do have a reason why, but I like to keep it a mystery just to let people speculate for a little while.
And then there's Alexa, who constantly. It's really kind of funny that she goes into heat because of her DNA, and I think it's like if it hadn't been for the fact that he was married and stayed around Neela most of the time, that she probably would have used him at one point in time to deal with her own going into heat. And I think Zerx is very, very, very glad that she never has, because I'm pretty sure he would not want to have to go in front of his cousin to explain that, because
despite her urges, Alexa is not totally without control of that kind of thing. She will respect the fact that he's also in theory now her cousin-in-law, so that makes things a bit weird.
Yep. But yeah. So I mean, and I also like just the fact that these stories actually do weave into each other. Oh, there's another question. How do you write assertive women characters with strong personalities without making them toxic girl bosses? Because the trick to doing that is to write them as people. They're people first, and when you do that, because what happens that you see in this day and age, where a lot of these where you had, especially like in the last 10 years or so, we had a lot of these female characters coming out as toxic girl bosses, is because it was just poor writing. They were the people who were writing were
say as well. The majority of my characters existed long before the idea of the girl boss, the strong female character, the strong female lead became prominent in entertainment, in films and things like that. I mean, I've always had a thing where I tend to lean towards designing female characters over male characters. I always have done. I wonder if that's just because I don't know. Is it because I'm male? I don't think that really matters. It's just for whatever reason, I tend to lean towards designing female characters over male. And a lot of them, because of that, because they're then the protagonists of your story, their nature can't be somebody who's, shrinking and quiet or anything like that. Otherwise, they're never going to survive your story.
Right.
And I think that would be the same if you had a male character. If you made that male character the sort of essential side character, the librarian. Again, librarian character could still be strong and win the day, but depending on what kind of story you're writing, and a lot of ours involve some serious life or death or combat situations and that kind of thing, you need somebody who can actually find their way through that, whether that's with your ensemble or a solo, and you'll write them according to what they can cope with.
Yeah, this is a kind of a roundabout way of explaining it. But if you've ever heard of have you ever gone to those Reddit read alouds? There's one called r/men write women. And it's kind of funny because you see some of these, they get snippets out of certain stories written by men, and they describe female characters and they make them ridiculously overly sexualized or doing things that their body's reacting in ways that the human body just doesn't react. And it's all because they're women. But, and it's funny to laugh at, but you realize that this just stems from some severe misunderstandings that these writers might have about women. And then they ask, people, other writers that actually write strong female characters that don't end up falling into this pit. And they ask them, the answer is, well, how do you manage to write women this way? To write, women that are this well-rounded and whatnot. And he says, because I write them as human beings first. I write them as people first.
And I think another trapping is, sorry, B, we keep talking over each other. It's just, I think another trapping is that some men may write a fantasy more than they're writing a character, I suppose, in a way. Whereas I love designing and creating characters in things anyway. They'll all tend to have quite strong appearances. And then it'll be, well, why do they look like that? Why do they behave that way? I mean, I think a lot of mine have been through a lot more trauma than Brandon's have. So they tend to be a bit more very different because they've had very different backgrounds. Mine tend to have the flaws in them first, and then I build the rest out. And I think Brandon builds his character, then adds the flaws. I think we do it the opposite way round, really, don't we?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, your characters do often have a tendency to seem more be better written than mine.
I wasn't going to say that out loud, but I'll accept it. Thank you, Brandon. That means a lot.
But
it's just horrible to him. I know.
What I see is this, in the past, like in the late 90s into the early 2000s, and even beforehand, finding strong female characters that didn't fall off this, fall into the girl boss, into the Mary Sue girl boss, that was commonplace. People made movies with these types of characters all the time. And then all of a sudden it was like suddenly everybody went crazy. That all of a sudden everybody went crazy. They started writing characters that were women, but they tried to make them strong by making them perfect, or by making male characters look stupid and incompetent in comparison, or just incredibly unlikable. I
don't know where the shift was, because I never grew up thinking men were better than women and women were better than men. And I thought, and they talk about having like female representation more in films. And I thought, yeah, but I've watched Alien, I've watched Aliens. I've now forgotten all the other films I was going to list. But even Fifth Element, these 90s films, all of the Alien franchise, you think Sigourney Weaver, even in Ghostbusters, as an actress, her characters weren't written as strong females. They were just females, and they happened to be the lead.
Yeah.
There are many films. Yeah, even Star Wars. There you go. Yeah, Cavish. Even there.
Yeah, absolutely. Princess Leia.
We had a lot of films where the lead person, the strong person in the thing, just happened to be female. We didn't think that, oh no, they have to be female, they have to be strong, they have to be this. It was never really highlighted to us. It was just either a man or a woman in the lead role.
What it is, I think, is and a lot of other people on YouTube have talked about this subject ad nauseum. I think they hit the core thing is that what happened is a lot of these people started trying to turn women into men. Because what they did when you saw how when
another example of
happened,
Vanova from Babylon 5.
Well, hold on. When this change happened, they were trying to shift away. It was like they suddenly became ashamed of their femininity and thinking that it somehow made them weak. Yeah, and like, yeah, I mean, think of Ripley, in Aliens. Especially in Aliens, she had a maternal side, and that she was caring and nurturing to Newt, a poor girl who had been traumatized, living alone on that colony for God knows how long after everybody she loved, watching everyone she loved, become alien food or breeding sacks. And then and you saw the nurturing side, but then she had the courage to go, it instilled in her a courage to go into the very heart of that hive and rescue that girl, and actually taunt the alien queen. So yeah.
And the thing is, it didn't need to be pointed out to us, and I think that's the difference. Is there's a lot of content now has to be pointed out. This person is strong. This person is funny. This person, and it's like that didn't need to be pointed out to us. Like you said, we just watched this and go, yeah, Ripley's a badass, but we didn't think about it. Even who's the other character? Vasquez. She's just the one with the smart gun, and her and Drake were just the two with the big guns, giving it. You've been mistaken for a man. No, have you?
Yeah, she was. That was more just a joke,
but it didn't. It didn't make her seem any weaker. She was just one of the Marines.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, Ivana on Babylon 5 worked way up from running the station to commanding it. Oh yeah, forgot. Oh yeah, and they forgot.
She had like the reputation for being this hard officer. Before the fact she was a woman, she was just this officer, like dealing with the two aliens that had the purple and the green sashes, and they were killing each other.
Drazi.
Yeah, and it's like, and then she ends up wearing both of them, so they end up just worshiping, saying, "You're in charge." You're like, what? No, that's not. I just want you to just behave yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, Ivanova was really cool, especially, and then you saw that she had that vulnerable side because when especially when Kosh showed Sheridan that vision, and she goes, "Do you know who I am?" And then later on, you find out that she's a latent telepath, and she had kept that hidden because she was terrified of the Psi Corps, and so yeah.
But again, you didn't really think about the fact that she's female. It's just like she's a cool character who's a badass. It never occurred to us, and I think these days, for some reason, it became to feel the need that it had to be pointed out that women are badasses. And it's like, from our generation, we never thought one way or the other about it. Yeah.
I mean, in Star Trek, you had good strong female characters that didn't have to be like consummate badasses. Major Kira in Deep Space Nine, she had a lot of trauma in her story because she was Bajoran and seeing being living on refugee colonies and whatnot.
Yeah, but again, it didn't matter whether she was a male or female character. It was just Bajoran. They'd been through hell.
Yeah.
That's what you saw. You didn't see, oh, look, it's a woman who's tough. It was her character and who she was, not the fact she's female.
Yeah, I mean, and then going back to Wild Space Saga, like I said, for your characters, you already have really good backstories for them, making them into well-rounded characters who can be consummate badasses, but still be really still be good, just strong female characters without having to go off that girl boss thing. I mean, even the tanks. Maria is this big, strong tech tank. I mean, not tech tank. Excuse me, ground tank.
Ground tank. Yeah,
she's a big, tough ground tank, but she has a softer side. She's very motherly to everybody. But even though she was born and bred basically to crackheads, and then going even to the the Reckless. What I have, especially in book 3, is Neela, who didn't get like that huge of a part in the first 2 books, but she's kind of like the mother hen of the group. But when Xerx, gets taken to Anrahara, all of a sudden, what's the matter?
No, it's all right. I had it was my brother's birthday day. We went for a curry, so I do apologise. I've got the burps.
Oh.
If you see me occasionally doing this, I'm trying not to go down the mic.
The way you did it looked like I'd said something wrong.
No, sorry. No, that's just me making sure you guys don't hear it, and so you don't keep hearing. You think of the old Barney Gumble sat in,
So anyway, what I'm saying is, in the beginning of the 3rd book, that you have Neela all of a sudden in the pilot's seat of the Reckless for the first time, and you see, is kind of trying to keep it together at first, but she kind of works it all out pretty well. And what we'll want to have is them doing it a little bit more often in further books. The 4th book we're working on right now doesn't feature
that's her building confidence of being.
Yeah, she's building confidence.
It's not even, again, it's not the fact she's not a girl boss. It's not because she's female. It's because she. Well, normally Xerx is sat in that chair telling everyone what to do. He's the natural leader of the group. So when she's got to take it on, well, that's just building confidence.
Yep.
In doing that herself, because she is literally the next in command.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, it's really, as a writer, it's really easy, to be honest, to write strong female characters without going over that edge. You just got to make sure they're human beings. Give them flaws.
Alexa isn't Felian. No, Alexa is very different.
No, Alexa isn't a Felian.
Basically, the Alliance were trying to create their own version of super soldiers, which is what tanks are for the Imperium. So they were combining all sorts of things. They took the DNA from the Tantagel dragons, went, can we combine this with humans and make them a bit more, feisty? Except what they got was Alexa, and then the lab itself got attacked. So she wound up basically on her own. She's human looking, but you'll see the character if you've seen the little slideshow I always put with my Suno songs. Right. She's basically bright red hair. She's got a mouthful of sharp teeth. She's got claws and some scales on her parts of her body.
Yeah. Felians don't go into heat. They're like us. They ready whenever.
What I created for her, though, of course, is whilst she's got all these lovely attributes there, she heals like anything, because the idea is Tantagel dragons, no one knows how old they are, because their ability to heal is, their cell regeneration is crazy. So Alexa doesn't scar. She barely ages. Things like that. They wanted to add into these soldiers. The other side of it, though, of course, is what I was thinking of, that reptile type thing, is there's an enhanced sort of reptile brain in a way that, but I love Bruce Lee films.
Enter the Dragon.
That would be fun. Oh yeah, no, and she likes people to enter the dragon. That's one of the troubles. But that's why I did it. She's got this overactive libido because the sort of the reptile brain kicks in a bit much occasionally, because everything else is kind of enhanced. So is that. So despite being married to Irid, the Pirate King, she needs her little collection of boy toys to keep her satisfied.
And some girl toys.
Yeah. So it's that sort of thing with her. So when we talk about going into heat, it's kind of it's because it kind of ramps up as she goes along, and then it never really goes away. It's just some days it's worse than others.
She's the embodiment of the song "Afternoon Delight."
He's not because they don't
intentionally.
They don't get to spend a lot of time together, because obviously he's the king running the pirate world. She's the queen doing whatever she needs to do, and also has the dream of fighting in the Gestalt leagues in G1. So she has her own robot. So when those waves hit her, he might not be there to pick up the slack
of business,
shall we say. So she needs a collection of boy toys so that it doesn't get too much. And then there's one when they get together, they actually have themselves a time. You know,
there's one particular boy toy that's her favorite, and that's because he's a hybrid. And one thing I kind of mentioned in a side story is that hybrid males don't have a refractory period. So yeah, she likes that. So whenever he's not with his girl, and she's around him, he tries to make himself scarce, but she more often than not
has a way
tends
of
to
finding
find him. Yeah, you'll see a little bit more about that in the second book if you pick it up. And it's and this one, by the way, Wrath and Redemption. This is the old cover. Yeah. But yeah, the even Wrath and Redemption has new stuff that we put in it as well. You might know a bit
more about Drone Commander here to saying about Sakari women.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a video game that's coming out, and it's basically you're a human that's been kind of taken by these aliens called the Sakari to fight in this war against this alien menace that's basically destroyed entire worlds. And these aliens are all these like 7 foot tall cat girls.
Alexa does have levels. She can be very gentle, very friendly, or she can go full Klingon, depending on what level of kink you're into.
I still remember that story you did between the two that I read, and I
never wrote that. I don't care what you say. That I did not write that. You imagined it,
dude. She went down to the bone. I was like, that would kill a human.
Basically, she was in a bad mood. She claws-earied, and I put that he bled profusely. At no point did I mention going down to the bone. It's the most Mandela effect thing you've ever said to me.
I wish I still had that copy. I'd bring it up.
It's because you imagined it. Because I never said that.
Promise you did. But anyway, let me see. Same level of thirst as that was what you.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. You probably know more about Sakari women than I do.
Yeah, there's like I said, there's race of 7 foot tall cat girls, and they really have a thing for human males. So
that was right up your alley then.
Wonder if I Klingon or. Well, I mean, that's not exactly Wild Space Saga related, but that's probably a flip of a coin.
That's a bit of a difficult one because if orcs believe they can win, they generally can.
Oh, you're talking about the 40K orcs.
Yeah, that's why it's got.
I was just thinking about fantasy orcs because
fantasy orcs are orcs with a C. Orcs with a K are 40K orcs.
Actually, orcs with a K are also from Shadowrun.
Yeah, but they got it from that.
Okay, if you say so. But
I think this time it's one that 40K didn't rip off another property.
I guess not. I mean, maybe that's the reason why they did ORK instead of ORC.
Hilarious. They're so protective of their IP when you can very much name most of the IPs they ripped off for some of their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Eldar are elves. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Don't worry, Finn. It's fine. That's why I think Brandon called this open mic night. It's kind of getting to know us a bit, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's no problem. I mean, sometimes people just go up and ask a question that just hits at our nerd genes.
Considering how distracted we get, this is probably the perfect night to ask us these questions when we haven't got a main format really to go with, because then we can go off on our tangents and realize just what massive geeks we are.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think that the next one that we should be a continuation of this for funds before we go into something a bit more specific, because we just finally getting some good questions going on. I like the vibe.
To be fair, I don't know if anyone's been watching them, but I'll probably put another tune up this week as well because I like to keep them coming up.
Right now I was saying that we are working on something involving the gestalts from the fourth book that we put I put together some stuff using Grok and a particular picture I made. Yeah. And if you want to see that picture, everybody,
we have all our lovely AI slop to provide you with.
And if you want to see that picture, join us on X. Like I said, we have the link down in the doobly-doo. And
that took me too long to. Sorry, Brandon. That took me too long to get it. I just realized what Finn put. Getting to know you.
Dude, that hit me immediately. I watched the King and I more times than I care to count.
It took me far too long to pick that up and realize what you just put.
I couldn't get a friggin' song on my head for ages when I first heard it. But anyway, what I was saying is that I was saying, like, you want to see some of the stuff we're working on. As I said before, hit us up on X or on Instagram, and because I manage the X account, Terry manages the Instagram account. He posts a lot of the stuff that we develop using AI. I post a lot of just our regular artwork stuff that we haven't even yet released on DeviantArt.
Wildspay AI Space Saga.
Yeah, we have it down in the doobly-doo. If people want to join, we have the link right there. It'll take them straight there. And it's spelled with an AI. Let me see.
The reason it's spelled that way is because basically I use a bit of ChatGPT to sometimes try and realize the characters in a photorealistic way. My art's very stylized. Brandon's art is very stylized, and what I try to do sometimes is just envision how a character would look if we cast them as a real person.
Yeah, he has a way of making ChatGPT spit out his characters in a much more hyper realistic fashion than I have it make my characters look. Even when I tell ChatGPT to make it look realistic, it does, but it looks more like a painting than an actual photo. His stuff actually looks like a photo.
That's because I've deliberately worked on photorealism over cinematic realism. The wording actually makes a big difference as to what it will render for you. That said, I know people have different feelings about this, and we keep sort of broaching it every episode, but it's a tool for me to realize things that I cannot physically realize through my pen and paper or a 3D program, anything that I'm not skilled enough to. The generative AI can actually create something and envision something for me that I want people to see. So I don't ever claim that I'm an AI artist. I think it's disingenuous for people to do that when a program has done the heavy lifting for you. It's the same with these Suno songs I do. I actually have all the words because for years I've had tunes in my head for everything, but I'm not musically talented enough to realize them as actual songs and write them as songs. So when I got a generative program that can go, lovely, this is my prompt, this is how I want it to sound, these are the words, make me a song, bop, lovely. Yeah. I can share it with you all because now I've realized what's in here through a program. So I understand people have strong feelings about the use of AI for these things. I will never try to make a profit from it. I will never try to sell it. I will happily share it with you guys because it's all lore stuff and background stuff about characters, about scenarios, and about factions of Wildspace just done in song. It's just something I want you to enjoy with us.
Yeah, I agree. The people who call themselves AI artists now, I was like, dude, what you do boils down to George Jetson's job, which was just pushing a button. Yeah.
Well, that was why Tron was so horribly accepted by the critics back in the 80s, because they misunderstood. Yeah, they thought that basically they fed it all into a computer and it spat out the film for them. It's like, no, in fact, much of Tron was not actually computer generated. It was black wooden scenery with reflective tape around the edges.
Yeah, I mean, well, they did have some scenes that were computer generated.
Oh, no, they did. They had a lot. Yeah, a lot of what you think it was generated,
and it wasn't. And it was probably a cast iron beast to do because they worked, it was all vector graphics and it was all done, by hand, so
it's appreciated now just what they did. But there was actually a lot more matte painting and a lot more of it was reflective tape along black sets, filmed with black and white cameras.
Yeah, and it used an effect called Codalist to give that glow effect. It was like shining a camera light into the film or something like that. I was
like, and they said, all this computer stuff is like, actually, the computer generated stuff is the minority of this film.
Yeah, it was only
about like being inside a computer.
There's only 3 scenes that were CG made. By the way, he said, imagine a realistic Felly, and I was like, yeah, unfortunately, these AI programs never quite seem to get them right. I have one that came close, and it was one about with this human and Fellian kissing. And oh god, I had to put it through so many try to alter the prompt and do so much. It was a headache. Finally, I went to Grok and told it, "Are you aware that you're doing this?" And it basically had me feed it a bunch of information and giving it specifically exactly what it was doing with anthro characters. And then it's but at least that's good because it ships this information off to the devs that work on the Grok program. And so and it gave me some pointers on how to fix that problem. And after I did that, it actually worked better. And the scene came out a whole lot better. But even then, it still doesn't quite get Felions right in the way. That one did. But oh god, it was so annoying to put together.
Yeah. It's because the image programs aren't as intuitive as the conversational programs. So you end up having to try and find the right way to iterate everything you want in a way that the image generator understands and then won't drift from.
Yeah, like Grok, when you're doing an animation, like with Felions, because I remember I have like 3 different kinds of Felions, and I have the ones that look more human, the Ankia. What they kept trying to do was give them cat ears, and I'm like, I do not have cat ears. Don't change it to give it cat ears, So it's like it's just so constantly. Huh?
It kept doing that to Drusilla on GPT. Drusilla's one of my tech tanks, but what I did was she has like the old feline style headphones, but with a load of aerials sticking out. Instead, I tried to say their feline style to give it the shape. They gave her cat ears with aerials sticking out.
Just maybe tell it that they're made of plastic and metal.
I found a way around it now, and I'll eventually share those images through the Instagram and probably through some of the song stuff and things on here.
What would the Wild Space Saga version of Unit 731? What's Unit 731? I've never heard of that one.
I'm only really familiar with up to about 8 units, and they are all part of the Ava series.
Yeah, but I never heard of Unit 731, and that's not something that I've that if it's something more recent sci-fi shows, then I haven't. Let me see, Japanese Human Experiment Program. Yeah.
Oh God, that was the Second World War stuff, wasn't it? Oh no, that's grim. That's grim.
Yeah, I never heard of that, and I probably might not want to.
No, but I have, Brandon. It was grim.
Now, the grimmest thing that we had written about in Wild Space Saga was a short story I did called Combat Pay Blues, and that was one of Xerxes' cousins, Isabar. He gets sent on a mission to Icona, and he uncovers the work of this mad scientist, Dr. Hayashibara, who you'll see more often in the second book. She had a whole bunch of Felian hybrid children kidnapped, and she disconnected their higher brain functions to basically do some experiments to see what makes psionics tick. And unfortunately, it killed these children in the process. So there you go. And yeah, she was pretty much a futuristic Dr. Mengele.
It's a piece of work. No, I would suggest you look that up, Brandon, for context. But yeah, don't eat before you do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. Let me see. So we have
we do. They're called the ISID,
and they're known for having to do some despicable things.
Okay, well, they choose to, and it's horrible. They're not the best of people.
All right. Well, and looks like hold on a minute. Okay. Well,
history lesson for Brandon.
Well, it's kind of a sad note to leave on, but we're kind of out of time today. But what we would like to do is to do another one of these Q&As, these open mics for the next live stream that we have. So we'll go ahead and put a pin in all that, and we'll wait until next time to.
We'll end on a no. Don't apologize, Finn. I mean, I happen to know what you were talking about. Yeah. It's a bit. It's just a bit scary. That particular bit of history. Just wanted to end up on a more positive note, because I know, Brandon, you've covered everything and I came in late. I do actually hope you enjoy the little bits I share. I like my silly little tunes. Our little video project will be up in the week. that we're talking about. It's another in character thing. I do try to keep it all in character. Yeah, just keep an eye out. Hopefully, you're enjoying the little bits of content I share. There'll be more coming. Somebody started the music. I'm going to take the hint.
Well, no, I wasn't trying to give you I was just trying to, because we are about to go out. But
but thank you for your attendance, guys. It really does help. You know, like I say, we might not have a lot of engagement right now, but any engagement is appreciated.
Yeah, and besides, you know, we know that other people check our stuff out after the fact. I hope this is gonna bring more people in, and we like thank you all for y'all too for joining us. And for anybody else who's gonna come in after the fact, you know, hey, thank you for watching, and we hope that you'll be able to join us for our next live stream. We will, you know, always make announcements on our like on our X account and our DeviantArt account. We let people know, and on Facebook, we let people know when we're going to be doing another one of these. So thanks again for coming, guys, and so
big shout out to Finn and Cavish for their contributions.
Yep, and just remember to follow, if you want to follow us, links down in the doobly-doo, and especially if you want to check out our books, we hope that you do. And if you do check out our books, if you do buy them, all we ask is that you leave a review, even if you didn't like it. And thanks a lot once again, guys, for joining us on the Wild Space Wildcast, and thanks for following us and staying on the Northwest Passage. Until next time, this is Brandon Hill and Terry signing off.